And in Homer, after the earthquake, uh, the Salty Dog Saloon and the Spit had sunk 10 feet into Kachemak Bay. So naturally, it was going to take them a year or so to put new gravel, 10 feet of gravel, on to save the Spit, because that is the main source of income at Homer for the fishermen. It was a fishing village. Uh, as far as I was concerned, my litigation with the attorneys in Anchorage was coming to an end, and was able to come to a closure on that, and received my financial investments back on Bayview Division in Homer, and then I was able to leave Alaska and go back to Apple Valley, California, where I then got back involved with the community and the Kiwanis Club there in Apple Valley. And I ended up with the Apple Valley Senior Citizen Housing and became president of the board. Did that for 10 years on the side relative to going back into practice, and then obtaining sufficient housing for my children and put them back into school, and that worked out very nicely. And so that all the negative things that happened in Alaska then was behind me. So it was like a new, fresh start, and it was very important to do that. So in Victorville, there was a very large 3-story building owned by Santa Fe Federal Savings and Loan. And on the second floor, they had a medical suite that was available for the whole front. And so, due to the fact that I knew the manager and we had lunch, I was able to negotiate a proper lease agreement and was able to open my office in this very nice first-class building with parking lot and elevator. And so then I employed one back office girl and one front office girl, and was able to reestablish my practice. And that went on for quite a while. And then I received a phone call from Barstow that I had known this girl 10 years before, and that she was in Barstow living with her 2 girls and working for a doctor. But I had a home in Apple Valley, and we had a swimming pool, and the elementary school was just down the street, and so the kids were doing really well. And so as we progressed in life, I become more involved in the community through the Apple Valley Senior Housing, and the Kiwanis Club took on a project, and we put new gravel on the driveways at the Senior Citizen Center, and then the city became incorporated, and then we needed to tie into the sewer, which was $135,000, and so that means we had to take a mortgage loan, which we did through San Bernardino, another savings and loan, and put that on, I think it was a 10-year payback, and we were able to contract and dig up all the properties and tie all the housing into because they were separate, independent duplexes, and tie them all into the sewer system. So that was all taken care of. Then we built them a garage, a laundry room, and that was done through the Kiwanis and all the volunteers. So I did that for 10 years on the side as a volunteer, and then I belonged to Apple Valley Chamber of Commerce and sat on the board. And then they had a contest once a year for city marshal. And so that was up for vote, and it was an honorary thing. And so the marshal was selected, and it was a female, and we all dressed in Western clothes. And so I was a deputy marshal for the city of Apple Valley, and that turned out very nice. And with these community projects that we had, really kept me busy. Being community involved, I also was involved with the Red Cross on their board of directors, and the weather in Victorville at one time had a severe thunderstorm and flood into the headwaters of the Mojave River, which is one of the largest underground rivers in the world, flowing away from an ocean. So it started there, going downstream to Silver Lakes and around the corner into a little spot in the road called Hodge, and then Barstow. And Barstow really got hit. It was Barstow City was isolated, covered with floodwater, which is rare. And so I was chairman of the board, so I went to Barstow and met with the disaster people, and I also was a certified search and rescue pilot, so I then was able to contact the squadron and give them a mission of flying the river up and down to see if people were isolated and need to be rescued, or if there was homes being swept away, etc. And this involved a lot of people, a lot of airplanes. It worked out very well, and we set up housing, temporary housing, and we opened up restaurants in Barstow so that as we rescue people, they could go in and be fed properly and see that they're warm and dry. Well, after this huge period happened in Barstow, the American Red Cross recognized me and gave me a certificate at a banquet for all my hard work, and offered me a position, staff position, in San Bernardino to take over a service center on the Redlands University property in Redlands, California, and also to be the Director of Disaster Services for the American Red Cross for the County of San Bernardino, which I did, because it was a real opportunity to expand my experiences with people and in life.